now. I want to thank you for your support. To my viewers in the U.S. and around the world, thank you so very much for your support. The super chat is important. If you want to give a super chat, that's also I appreciate that greatly. Forbes swing state polls, Trump leads in Arizona and Georgia. I don't believe North Carolina Harris is up. We'll get to the polls, and we'll get to the fact that Trump is pretty much up in every single, this is a Forbes article, but if you look at Real Clear Politics, he's pretty much up in every swing state. Trump is. That's with, and we'll get to the analysis in a second, that's with 24/7 negative media coverage. Washington Post, New York Times, MSNBC, CNN, The Atlantic, pretty much every major newspaper, especially within the swing states, they don't have a Trump supporter. They don't have an opinion editor or writer or journalist or reporter that is for Trump. The man is a one-man public relations wrecking crew. He has gone up against a very corrupt, biased system that is pretty much an echo chamber for the Democratic Party. So you have to understand Trump, if you want to use a NFL or football term, is running a 4.2 40 with a 100-pound backpack called American media, American political establishment, and algorithms and all of that. But let's get started, ladies and gentlemen. Hit subscribe. I think North Carolina Trump is going to get in a resounding fashion, especially because of the hurricane and the response of Biden's administration. But hit subscribe to this channel. Let's go.
Trump pulling ahead in two of the crucial battleground states. He now leads Vice President Harris by 5 in Arizona. Remember, Arizona was just down to, tens of thousands of votes. Very slim margin in 2020. He trailed by 5 last month in Arizona. So that's a move in the New York Times Siena College poll to his benefit. He is up 2 points in North Carolina right now after trailing there by 2 in August. And he is hanging on to his 4-point lead in the state of Georgia. Here's a look at how close these states were in 2020, which I was just mentioning. Biden won Georgia and Arizona by less than 1 point. Former President Trump took North Carolina by less than 2. So with that, let's bring in Tomi Lahren, host of Tomi Lahren is Fearless on Outkick, and Robert Wolf, former economic advisor to President Obama and founder and CEO of 32 Advisors, both Fox News contributors. Great to have you with us. I want to show you this by Harry Anton at CNN and our own Bill Hemmer, great board operators when it comes to really analyzing where these numbers are moving. Let's watch this and we'll get your take.
Kamala Harris carries these Great Lake battleground states, but of course, Donald Trump carries North Carolina, Georgia, and Arizona, and that leads to 276 electoral votes for Kamala Harris to 262 for Donald Trump.
This is what Democrats are hoping for. You're one shy with 19 electoral votes there in Pennsylvania. I haven't clicked on Nevada yet because you've got that one out here in Nebraska, which would be enough to give Kamala Harris.
I don't see Nevada going blue. I see Nevada going red. And then Trump will get at least one, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota. He'll get one of those states, and he's won. But he could get 2. He could get 3, like he did in 2016.
Harris, the presidency.
So obviously both sides, Robert Wolf, have a path to 270 at this point. Pennsylvania could be the deciding place, or potentially Nebraska, which has electoral votes that are divided up after they give 2 to the winner. They divide them up a little bit. Your take on where this stands right now, given his strength that we see now in the Sun Belt?
Yeah, it feels to me that the vice president is a bit of an underdog still. I think on the economy, although she's narrowed the gap, she's still down somewhere between 5 and 10. So it doesn't surprise me that the Sun Belt still seems to be going towards former President Trump. But it feels like the blue wall starting to creep back towards Harris. There was a poll today that has her up 7.
And by the way, this is about 3 weeks ago. So we'll get to the analysis of the past week or so. But I just want to show you the trend. The trend is that Trump has regained the lead he had with Biden. So when he was running against Biden, who actually did win his primary, and they ousted Biden in the most unethical, immoral, completely absurd political maneuver that was so overtly undemocratic, it's unbelievable. What they did to Biden was a million times worse than what they did to Bernie Sanders. Democrats they don't even have functioning primaries. Biden won his primary. I still don't understand how Harris supplanted or usurped Biden. I don't understand. But again, it's just a political machine. She was polling worse than Biden. And again, Trump has now regained any lead that he allegedly lost.
In Wisconsin. And the truth is they have hundreds of millions of dollars of Harris campaign and thousands of volunteers and over 300 offices. So the next 45 days is going to be single-handedly about get out the vote in those 7 states.
Yeah, who knows what's going to happen in the world in the next 45 days and what kind of impact that might have. Watch this back and forth that deals with, no press conference. Nobody has really drilled down with Harris on where she stands on Israel, where she stands on some of these very hot issues. Watch this with Brett Stevens of the New York Times and Stephanie Ruhle of MSNBC.
The problem that a lot of people have with Kamala is we don't know her answer to anything, okay?
But you know
and
his answer to everything.
I don't think it's a lot to ask.
Yes, and his answer, with his answers, we had low inflation, low interest rates, record highs in household median income, first president to step foot in North Korea, prison reform legislation, the First Step Act. We had record low poverty. We had record lows in unemployment with low inflation, low interest rates. You could buy a home for less than half of the mortgage rate. So mortgage rates have doubled under Biden's administration. There are invasions all over the planet under Biden's administration. It's a complete catastrophe. Yeah, everyone knows Trump's answer. He wants to build a wall. We should have done that a long time ago. That's national security. A lot more. They focus on Trump's rhetoric, but most of his rhetoric is spot on. It's just that they ignore all the offensive things that they say, or that Hollywood celebrities say, or that, and then they focus on Trump and they ignore all the good things that he did, which were plentiful, which is exactly why he's going to win yet again.
Ask her to sit down for a real interview as opposed to a puff piece in which she describes her feelings of growing up in Oakland with nice lawns.
Then I would just say to that, when you move to Nirvana, give me your real estate broker's number and I'll be your next door neighbor.
So, Tommy, the clear message there is it doesn't matter what she thinks. She's not him.
Yeah, is it too much to ask that somebody running for president of the United States actually tells us what she plans to do as president of the United States? Look, I think...
By the way, where is Biden? Meaning, I'm asking, do we have a president that is actually deciding or making decisions? We still have all of these quagmires and problems throughout the world in terms of foreign policy. Is he leading the country? Has he been leading the country since Harris usurped or supplanted him? I don't know. Does it feel like we have a president leading the country? Yes or no? I think the answer is pretty much obvious to everybody.
I think the Kamala team thought she could run the clock. They thought that they were going to squeak by on vibes and joy. But the benefit of the doubt has run out for the Kamala Harris team and for Kamala Harris herself. The puff pieces aren't going to work. The stories about being a middle-class kid, those are getting tired and they're getting old. And the American people are unwilling to play Russian roulette with their vote. They're not going to vote for somebody when they don't know what she's going to do to the country. And the best indication that they have is what's currently happening, status quo, which is unacceptable, or even worse, back to her 2019-2020 positions that are extremely radical. So right now, the American voters in these swing states are having to choose between Kamala Harris of 2020 or Kamala Harris of 2024. That is the current vice president. And I don't think they want either of those options.
Robert, quickly, if you can, she's not where Biden was with Hispanic voters or black voters. She's still playing catch up with those groups. Clearly, that's an issue.
Yeah, I think, again, it's going to be all about the economy. I think on your poll, and we've spoke about it the other day, it's like 40% of where people's focus are, and I'm probably light there. I'm glad she's doing a Pennsylvania economic policy speech on this Wednesday. And listen, we have to make sure that she has more substantive interviews, to your point.
Robert, do you think the interviews aren't going well? When you look at Oprah and you look at these long-winded answers, even Oprah had to sort of jump in and say, can you please answer his question real quick?
I think they're going well because I didn't see the Oprah one, but I saw the ABC Philadelphia one, and I thought actually that was a great interview. So I missed the.
So none of the interviews were really great. The reason is that there is no policy that Harris truly believes in. So she doesn't believe in Medicare for all. She doesn't believe in packing the Supreme Court. She doesn't believe in the Green New Deal. She doesn't believe in any of the major policies or the ideology that Democrats espouse. And actually, none of the Democrats do. They use like Medicare for all or single-payer health care, for example. First of all, there's not even a state with single-payer health care, but it doesn't work on a state level. It's not going to work on a national level. It would be nice if it did or if it was feasible, but it's not feasible for a country of 40 million people. The point, however, is that Democrats don't believe in it. They don't. It is simply a way to get left-leaning voters to vote Democrat. That's why Bernie Sanders and AOC and Elizabeth Warren exist politically. They're there to pretend that Democrats will lean left on these policies. Then they anoint Clinton or Biden or Harris, and then they pass these bills like the Inflation Reduction Act that don't really do anything they promise to the far left. And the fact that you would have an Inflation Reduction Act that did not reduce inflation says all you need to know about the Democratic Party.
The new Fox poll shows Trump is ahead of Harris by 2 points. That's nationally, up to nationally. GOP pollster Mitchell Brown is with us today. Can Trump keep the momentum going for another 3 weeks? And does polling momentum equal voter turnout?
Yes, I think it's more of the opposite there. Like, we're seeing the reflection in voter turnout in states where people have already started to cast their ballots. That's what's showing this movement for Trump. And when it comes to what is actually happening on the ground, we talked about this last week, but everything is trending in the direction for Trump. That's why Harris is doing all of these different TV hits and trying to set up as many interviews as possible. The internal numbers show her down in those 3 Rust Belt states, and it's a troubling sign because she's already lost the Sun Belt. She's already lost Georgia, North Carolina, and Arizona. And with that, if she loses one of those 3 Rust Belt states, it's over.
From the early voting, mail-in voting, or even just mail-in voting, can you tell which way the vote is going?
Directionally, you'll be able to tell where sentiment lies, and you can go look at it from 2016 and 2020. See, okay, are people returning ballots earlier at the same rate, a higher rate, a lower rate? And that'll help us kind of overall project the turnout. And for this election, enthusiasm in the base, especially in the state of Pennsylvania for both Trump and Harris, is going to be a key driver. And what we're seeing is if she can't match even just 95% of the intensity that Biden had behind that campaign in the inner cities in Pennsylvania, she's in a lot of trouble.
Mitchell, listen to how the media reacted to Harris's interview with Bret Baier. Watch this.
Some people think Baier was mansplaining. Other people think Harris is filibustering. I think at the end of the day, this is all about one word, the word tough. It showed that Harris was tough.
Why would Harris be tough? Because she lived one day of Trump's life. Trump has lived that same interaction with Bret Baier every single day for like 7-8 years. And Biden couldn't handle even 3 weeks of it. It took 3 weeks of the media, even Stephen Colbert and others, to make fun or mock or disparage Biden. They turned on Biden just to get Harris as nominee after Biden had won the primary. He couldn't even withstand 3 weeks of what Trump deals with every day. Democrats are so pampered and coddled by media, it's unbelievable. And then when they live Trump's life, it's like, oh my God, oh, so heroic.
woman said that she came in hot and also said that she became angrier. I thought he came in hot. And what I am very tired of is this trope of the angry black woman. She was passionate. Passion does not equal anger.
Democrats do this all the time. It has nothing. Harris does not represent everyone of her ethnic background or of her gender. She just represents herself. Democrats do this all the time, and wonderful, highly educated, morally superior liberals, what they do is they say, oh, our candidate is of a certain background. This human being must represent everyone of that background. It's like, no. Harris, Biden, Trump, they represent themselves. Okay? Trump believes in a wall, believes in peace deals, believes in drilling so we can lower the cost of energy. Democrats believe in drilling in other countries, and they pretend they care about the environment. Okay, you'd have to be a complete imbecile to think that they really care about the Green New Deal when they're begging other countries to produce more oil, and they flood the country, our country, with strategic petroleum reserves. Then they say, "Oh, we care so much." The experts agree with us. And it's like, well, okay, but the experts will twist their value system in a heartbeat just because they're liberal Democrats to side with their viewpoint. But anyway, the point is, if you're of a certain background and you're a Democratic politician, you don't represent that entire background. If anything, core demographics within the Democratic Party are going to Trump. That's how great Trump is.
It was a tick in that interview. This is Interruption as an art form, Interruption, and it felt like it's
an art form when word salad and meandering off into nonsense and obvious overt attempts at circumventing, simple questions. Like Harris never answers a question. She goes off into these tangents like Biden, except she's more eloquent and lucid. She doesn't answer the question because they're rhetorical questions. Did your policies cause lives to be lost? Well, the obvious answer is yes, of course they did. Democratic Party immigration policies caused lives to be lost. Okay? That's obvious. There are people that were not vetted who then took the lives of women in this country. For example, the rhetorical question, the answer is yes. Her policies did lead to that. Oh, then it's all around. I grew up with a middle class. Okay. But everyone knows what's going on. That's the thing. They say Trump lies. Nobody is more honest than Trump. Nobody is. They can't even name a grandiose lie. We know that they were lying for the past, for 3-4 weeks, a month, about Biden not stepping down. That's a greater and more egregious lie than anything Trump has ever told, and that's not even one of their greatest lies, the Democratic Party.
I feel like Interruption is a metaphor for a rising new America, a new generation of leadership, a woman, a person.
He's still talking.
Democrats forget you had Margaret Thatcher, you had you had women throughout history, okay? It's just that the individuals, whether it's Hillary Clinton or Harris, the individuals who Democrats anoint, so Harris didn't win a primary, and Clinton, let's just say the primary was taken from Bernie Sanders, and Bernie Sanders was railroaded, and then Clinton was anointed. So they never really have anything close to meritocracy. And then they say, oh my God, this is history in the making. It's like, no, it's not. This is all transparent. Everybody can see what's going on. You anointed somebody, then you say, oh my God, they don't like this person because of this or that. It's like, no, the process stinks. And the person will back any policy that's politically expedient. They don't truly believe in the policies.
Mitchell, if there are any undecided voters left, how do you think they viewed the interview?
Well, first off, Brett did a great job asking straightforward questions. I like how that's now characterized as mansplaining, just asking a simple question. But again, undecided voters would be completely unmoved by that performance and even turned off by her. The hope for her campaign had to be, let's go here, try to be a calm, collected, and confident voice who can give some real answers to questions, and maybe hit that 10% of the audience who was maybe a little tired of Trump in the way he speaks. But again, going out there and being belligerent and intentionally picking fights is not the way to do it. So this had a negative impact with undecided voters.
30 seconds. From what you've seen so far right now, is Trump maintaining his momentum?
Trump is not only maintaining momentum, it is growing. You can see it on the betting markets. You can see it through the internal polling, through the campaign. Trump is in a great pace right now, and if he keeps this up, again, the presidency will be his come the 5th.
God willing. And hey, do not sleep. Do not sleep behind the wheel. You have to vote. Vote Trump, obviously, if you want a better economy, better foreign policy, and an actual presidency. That isn't a presidency of former Obama and Clinton advisors, which is essentially what Harris or Biden's presidency has been. I don't know how many decisions do you think Joe Biden made unilaterally himself, like because he viewed the world a certain way? Can you imagine if JFK during the Cuban Missile Crisis deferred to quote unquote the experts? They would have told him to invade Cuba, and that would have led to a nuclear confrontation. So sometimes the experts are wrong. Okay, they love when Democrats say Trump, he wasn't listening to his generals. The generals have to listen to Trump. It's the other way around. The generals have to listen to Harris if she wins, which Trump will win, and the generals have to listen to Biden. Okay, the military must listen to the president, not the other way around. Okay, that's the way our country is. Our republic is, that's the way the United States functions. Other countries, the military makes the decisions. And so you have like this public relations spin from Democrats. Oh, Trump doesn't listen to his generals. He doesn't listen to the experts. Like, well, JFK didn't. And everyone loves JFK. He's a great president. His history has shown he was one of our better presidents, one of our greatest presidents. Okay, anyway, let's continue.
GOP pollster Mitchell Brown joins me now. He has something interesting to say. If the election were held today, Trump would win. Make your case.
Yeah, so again, like you said, if it was held today, he wins. Why he wins? Georgia, North Carolina, Arizona, and Nevada are actually in his camp right now.
In Georgia, North Carolina, Arizona, and Nevada, especially Georgia, North Carolina, and Arizona, these are red states, primarily red states. Yeah, okay, the cities are blue. Fine, the cities are blue everywhere. In most places, cities are blue, predominantly. But they're red. If you look at all the counties, it's all red. The entire. If you look at the counties in Wisconsin, if you look at the counties in California, okay, most of the counties in this country are red, conservative. Then you have blue cities, but then Harris is losing ground in key demographics, within urban areas. Why would you be, what is there to be excited about regarding Harris or Biden? They don't believe anything they say, and everyone knows it. So if you're voting Harris and Biden, you're voting for a machine. You don't like Trump. Oh, I don't like Trump. What don't you like about Trump? A great economy, great foreign policy. You want to have a continuation of the Biden years? More people lost their lives, by the way, of you-know-what in Biden's first year than Trump's last year. But of course, the apoplectic hysteria doesn't take that into account from the wonderful, morally superior Democrats.
Has he moved up? You're a pollster. Yeah. Has he moved up in the polls in those 4 swing states?
Yes. Arizona specifically, he is now outside the margin of error. Like Donald Trump will be winning Arizona. That is not even remotely in doubt. The other 3 states have been trending all further his direction the past month. So Harris had that little bump as soon as she became nominee. There was a debate where she had a moderate to decent performance. And so since then, it's just been a slow trajectory downhill for her and up for Trump.
The national polling puts 49 Harris, 47.2 Trump. That's a very, very slim margin.
Yep. And again, on the national popular vote, that's a great margin for Trump. Again, we're talking about the Electoral College here. So like I mentioned, with Trump winning North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada, that leaves the 3 Rust Belt states. Trump has to win one of Pennsylvania, Michigan, or Wisconsin. Harris has to win all 3. And from my numbers that I'm seeing internally, Trump has Pennsylvania as of today.
Really? As of today?
As of today.
So that's a movement in his favor very, very recently.
Yes, it is.
I'm saying,
if you're in Pennsylvania and you vote Harris, you vote Democrat, you're literally taking jobs away from the energy sector. I mean, that's a fact. You're taking jobs away from the energy sector, various different segments within the energy sector in Pennsylvania. Okay? Harris has stated she's against fracking. The Green New Deal and Pennsylvania's energy sector do not go hand in hand. Not that the Democrats really care about the Green New Deal, but eventually they'll implement laws, policies to make. They want to make the American energy sector obsolete. That's what they want to do. They've stated that. And so you're actually, I don't get it. I just don't get it. Forget about just the specific segments within the energy sector that directly pertain to Pennsylvania. We can go into them, but that's another topic. Inflation, foreign policy. What is it about Biden and Harris that a person likes so much? It's just you don't like Trump? Well, put your ego aside. Fine, you don't have to have lunch with him, but if you want a better economy and a better foreign policy, just vote for Trump. My God. There's a reason that they supplanted or usurped Biden. Okay, Democrats literally forced Biden out of the candidacy because his administration has been a failure. Don't take my word for it. Take the Democratic Party's, actions and words. If Biden was an actual success, they would never have moved Harris into the candidacy.
On the show today that Trump's on a roll. I think your numbers suggest he is.
Yes, yeah.
And Harris has stalled.
Yeah, she's stalled again. And it's not really been she was an immediate bump just from getting out there. People wanted to see Biden gone. And so she had this little bit of enthusiasm that was kind of artificial on its front. But now that artificial nature of her campaign that's been here for 3 months now has really weighed on people and it's declined her.
I saw the recent New York Times Siena poll, and it shows that Republicans are likely to win back the Senate. They're going to get, where is it now?
Can you imagine? Could you imagine the pundits on the 11 million plus sub channels? They spent 8 years making hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, spending their lives, devoted their lives to taking down Trump, only to see that he's won twice, and the Senate and the House, trifecta. And that will prove once and for all that American media is not powerful enough to block the will of the people or to influence the future, the trajectory of this country. Okay, Democrats. What's happening at the border is a national security concern. Democrats don't see it that way. Inflation is a national security concern. High interest rates also is a national security concern. You can't have high interest rates. You can't keep these interest rates as high as they are for too long just to ensure that inflation stays at a palatable level. But let's continue.
Texas, Cruz beats Allred 48-44 at this moment. Montana, Tim Sheehy beats Tester 52-44, and in Florida, Rick Scott is out front with 49-44 against his Democrat opponent. Yeah. That would give them the Senate.
Correct. And then let's not forget West Virginia. With Manchin leaving, Jim Justice will be the next senator from West Virginia. So let's talk about the rest of the map. We talked about these Rust Belt swing states. Bernie Moreno, if you went back 3 months ago, he was trailing Trump by 10, 12, 14 points in polling, and down to Sherrod Brown by 5, 6, 7. Now we look at it today, that is a dead even race, and it's trending for Moreno. That campaign has done a remarkable job, and it's the one race where we've actually outspent Democrats. So let's talk about the other swing state Senate races.
Go.
Wisconsin and Pennsylvania. Wisconsin, again, Eric Hovde's campaign has done a great job of bringing that to a localized issue, not making it solely about the top of the ticket. So that's trending in the right direction. Pennsylvania, on the Senate side, I'm a little more bearish there, just because, again, Trump's going to have to perform 3 or 4 points ahead there for us to have a chance in that Senate race.
So he's going to win these 4 swing states if today's numbers are still accurate. So he wins the presidency, the Electoral College for sure.
Yes.
The Republicans take the Senate. That looks pretty solid at this point.
Yeah.
By the way, late October, ladies and gentlemen, to my viewers, and I love you, late October, you might not see too many live streams or videos. You might say, well, where's H.A. Goodman again? But I will be back November 1st for sure. All throughout November, December, January, February, and into Trump's second term, every single day, I'll be working very hard, like I usually do, before the past, I would say, several months, because of a whole bunch of things, a hurricane, but even before that, I've had the channel for 6-7 years plus, and I have done a whole lot of videos, and I will do the same type of work starting, November 1st, because I have to. I mean, we're entering Trump's second term, and it's going to be absolutely phenomenal for the country, and taking this political journey with all of you means a lot to me, and I'm very blessed. And I thank you all in the U.S., throughout the world, and Paul Bartlett and Angie and everybody here. Thank you so very much for your support, your super chat. Paul, as always, my God, every single day, your support in Australia. Paul Bartlett, thank you. But yeah, I mean, I will be doing live streams, uploads. I'll be building other channels as well. November 1st is going to be very, very important. I might take a couple of days off prior to that. So don't think that I'm not going to be back. I will. I wasn't here for about 2 weeks, as I told you, because, of everything going on. You can watch the last segment, and you can read the community message that I wrote. But anyway, but yeah, so November, I just wanted to let everybody know, maybe a week or so before November, I might not be doing too many. I have a couple things going on that are very positive and wonderful, thank God. But November 1st, it's going to be a celebration every day, a celebration of democracy, our republic, the country, the Constitution, and God bless Trump, God bless you. Hey, you know what? God bless Harris and Biden. I just don't think that, voting Democrat at this time in our country's history is good for the trajectory of the country. I'll leave it at that.
I know it's a little, there's a few weeks to go, but it looks solid. How about the House?
The House, again, with so many of these races, if you just go back to 22, we're talking about people winning races by 200, 400, 1,000 votes. So if someone asked me to say today what's going to happen, we'll hold the House by less of a margin than we did in 22. So 2 or 3 seat majority in the House for us.
I've always wanted to ask pollsters this question. When very few people have landlines and people don't pick up on their cell phones if they don't know who's calling, how do you take a poll?
Yeah, so this is what I always tell people. Don't trust your public polling. It's put out for 2 reasons. One, it's a media blitz by the campaign to raise donations or to say, hey, look, we're in trouble or we're doing so well. The second is a lot of it is groups that are trying to dissuade voters from voting, saying, oh, your candidate's already lost, or look, your candidate's doing great, you should turn out. But yeah, this was the polling breakdown in 2016, is everyone was wrong, and it's because you have to meet people where they are. So if it's men 55 plus in Alabama, I am going to still call that landline. They will answer. If it's men under the age of 29 in Atlanta or inside Philadelphia, I'm going to send a text or I'm going to do an online push to poll. And so again, it's meeting people where they are. I'll send a fan boat out to people in Mississippi if that's how I have to talk to them. But we want to go meet people where they are and not have to wait our sampling. And most of the internal numbers for the Trump campaign are spot on because we will go to those lengths to do so.
And as of now, he wins. Vote today, Trump wins.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely amazing, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely amazing. Listen, God bless you all. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll do this again tomorrow, the next day. And all I can tell you is that November is going to be a very, very important month in American history. And I'm just very happy, blessed, excited to be part of it with you, take this journey with you, because it really is a journey. There are other channels, wonderful, morally superior, liberal Democratic Party channels that'll just vote for anyone who's a Democrat. They don't care. And they just obsess over anyone who disagrees with them, and they'll do a million videos on political pundits on the right or conservatives or people they disagree with. It's all about public relations for the left. For Trump, supporters of Trump, it's about the economy. It's about foreign policy. It's about the trajectory of this country. Do you want a stronger America, stronger economy, less wars? You vote for Trump. You'd have to be a complete imbecile and a fool to want more inflation, to want more invasions, to want a worsening economy and a deteriorating border. But anyway,